Good evening, and welcome back to another journey through history. Tonight, we're exploring something truly extraordinary, something that touches every aspect of our lives, yet remains mysterious in so many ways. We're diving deep into the history of psychology, the scientific study of the mind and behavior. Get comfortable, settle in, and let's begin this remarkable journey through time. Long before laboratories and clinical trials, long before terms like cognition and neuroscience entered our vocabulary, humans were asking fundamental questions about the mind. What makes us think? What drives our actions? Where do our emotions come from? These questions are as old as human consciousness itself. In ancient Egypt, around 1500 years before the Common Era, physicians documented what may be the earliest written records of psychological observations. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest medical documents ever discovered, contains passages describing conditions we might today recognize as dementia and depression. These ancient healers understood, in their own way, that something invisible yet powerful governed human behavior and experience. But it was in ancient Greece where the philosophical foundations of psychology truly began to take shape. The Greeks possessed an insatiable curiosity about human nature. They looked beyond superstition and divine intervention, seeking natural explanations for the workings of the mind. Around 600 years before the Common Era, a philosopher named Thales proposed something revolutionary. Instead of attributing human behavior to the whims of gods, he suggested using hypotheses and theories, natural explanations for how the world works. This shift from mythology to rational inquiry opened a door that would never close. Then came Socrates, born around 470 years before the Common Era. Walking the streets of Athens, engaging citizens in dialogue, Socrates developed a method that still bears his name. The Socratic method involved asking probing questions, challenging assumptions, and stimulating critical thinking. He believed that wisdom came not from accepting knowledge passively, but from examining one's own beliefs and understanding oneself. Know thyself, the ancient inscription at Delphi advised, and Socrates made this the cornerstone of his philosophy. Socrates was fascinated by the nature of the soul, which the Greeks called psyche. This word, psyche, would eventually give us the first half of psychology. To Socrates, understanding oneself was not merely an intellectual exercise but the foundation of living a good life. He questioned whether human behavior was about seeking personal happiness or placating divine will, pushing his students to look inward for answers. His student Plato took these ideas further. Born around 428 before the Common Era, Plato established the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. His theory of forms proposed that reality existed on two levels: the visible world we experience through our senses, and an invisible world of perfect forms accessible only through reason. Plato's view of the psyche was sophisticated and structured. He proposed a tripartite theory, dividing the soul into three parts. The rational part, located in the head, was responsible for thinking and decision-making. The spirited part, in the chest, generated emotions like courage and honor. And the appetitive part, in the abdomen, drove basic desires for food, drink, and physical pleasure. This division anticipated modern psychological theories about different systems within the mind. In Plato's famous chariot allegory, he compared the soul to a charioteer driving two horses. The charioteer represented reason, while the horses symbolized the spirited and appetitive parts of the soul. A harmonious life required the charioteer to control the horses, using reason to guide emotion and desire. This metaphor captured something essential about the human experience, the constant negotiation between different parts of ourselves. But Plato's most influential contribution to psychology might be his stance on the nature versus nurture debate. He believed that humans were born with innate knowledge, that the mind came pre-equipped with certain understandings. Learning, in Plato's view, was actually remembering what the soul already knew from a previous existence. Then came Aristotle, Plato's student, who would chart a different course. Born in 384 before the Common Era, Aristotle rejected his teacher's theory of innate knowledge. Instead, he proposed that the human mind at birth was like a blank slate, a tabula rasa. All knowledge, Aristotle argued, came through experience and the senses. Around 350 before the Common Era, Aristotle wrote what may be the first text specifically devoted to psychology, titled Peripsyches, which translates to On the Soul or About the Mind. In this groundbreaking work, Aristotle laid out principles that would influence psychology for centuries to come. He emphasized careful observation combined with reason as the path to understanding nature. He studied memory, dreams, and the nature of perception. He explored how we learn and form associations between ideas. Aristotle can legitimately be called the first behaviorist. His emphasis on observable phenomena and the role of experience in shaping behavior anticipated the work of psychologists who would come thousands of years later. He believed that repeated exposure to certain experiences would shape the formation of the human mind, an insight that remains central to psychology today. The ancient Greeks also made crucial physiological discoveries. Around 500 years before the Common Era, a physician named Alcmaeon proposed something radical for his time. He suggested that the brain, not the heart, was the organ of thought. Through careful observation, he tracked sensory nerves ascending from the body to the brain and theorized that mental activity originated there. This was revolutionary. Most ancient cultures believed the heart was the seat of consciousness and emotion. Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, built on this understanding. In the 4th century before the Common Era, he theorized that mental disorders had physical rather than supernatural causes. This was a profound shift. Instead of attributing madness to demonic possession or divine punishment, Hippocrates looked for natural explanations. He proposed that imbalances in 4 bodily fluids, or humors, led to different temperaments and mental states. While his specific theory was incorrect, his approach, seeking biological explanations for psychological phenomena, was remarkably modern. Later, the physician Galen, working in the Roman Empire during the 2nd century of the Common Era, expanded on these ideas. Among his over 600 medical treatises, many dealt with psychological conditions. Galen wrote extensively about depression, which he called dysthymia, and believed firmly in the connection between mind and body. He documented cases where mental and emotional stress caused physical illness, observations that anticipated psychosomatic medicine by centuries. Galen once treated a patient who tossed restlessly all night, dreaming and worrying about whether Atlas, the Titan from Greek mythology, could continue holding up the sky if he became sick. Galen diagnosed this as severe depression caused by anxiety and stress. His recognition that thoughts and emotions could profoundly affect physical health was ahead of its time. The Greeks also practiced early forms of psychotherapy. They used dream interpretation to understand individual anxiety, a technique that would be rediscovered and refined by Sigmund Freud thousands of years later. They established healing temples where people could rest, reflect, and receive care for mental disturbances. These were early attempts at what we might call therapeutic environments. Yet, for all their brilliance, the ancient Greeks had limitations. Much of their work was philosophical rather than empirical. They proposed theories based on observation and reason, but they lacked the systematic experimental methods that would later define scientific psychology. Still, their questions, their frameworks for understanding the mind, and their emphasis on natural rather than supernatural explanations set the stage for everything that would follow.